Who is ready to burn some churches? Living through times of significant stability, it is easy to take solace in things that are known and predictable, like the fact that every couple of years we'll get a new Assassin's Creed game. That way you can be the one causing the historical instability, rather than the one suffering it. And while the formula has changed and coalesced into a new open world RPG of its own that I happen to really like, something that has been consistently interesting is its performance profile. The most recent Assassin's Creed game is always my low-end CPU benchmark, because if a CPU can do 30 FPS on this game, it can likely do 30 FPS on anything. GPU performance is unsurprisingly another big factor. Assassin's Creed Valhalla has a lot of options that can absolutely punish a GPU on higher settings, or integrated GPUs pretty much all the time, so as it is now tradition, I was eager to look into the configuration files of this new game and figure out just how much can be done, so many more can try it on humble PCs. Let's get started. This video is brought to you by Skillshare, a long-time supporter of this channel and YouTubing in general. Click the link down below to get your free 30 days of premium. Assassin's Creed games, as always, run in the Ubisoft Anvil engine that store its configuration files in an easily reachable folder in Documents. After you have dropped all the settings to the lowest, you may notice some interesting things. Let's start with the most important part. The game uses a resolution scaler to basically run the 3D elements of a game on a lower resolution and then scale them back up. Games like Watch Dogs use TAA supersampling, which does do some reconstruction, so a low-resolution image looks better. That is not what Assassin's Creed does. While it still looks much better than just running a low resolution natively, there is no reconstruction here, so take that as you may. The menu for this setting, as usual, is limited to 50% of the window resolution, but this is controlled in the file by the pixel density variable, which you can set to 0.4 for 40% or 0.3 for 30% and so on. Really useful to be able to play full screen and borderless windows, especially in smaller screens. The bad news is that unlike the previous game, there is no variable to disable temporal anti-aliasing, so in lower resolutions things will look blurry. This is a bit disappointing. And apart from that, once you lower everything to the lowest, there are a couple of things left enabled which might or might not work. For example, setting fog to 0 does not disable the fog, texture filtering set to 0 already seems to be applied when you use low textures, but post effects like bloom can actually be disabled. Well, it's something, I guess. Interestingly enough, you can control the screen space ambient occlusion, which is what is used to determine how exposed to light objects are when not in direct lighting. This is clearly not in the menu, because when you disable it, everything that is not in direct light just becomes impossibly dark, so that did not solve much, but it's an option that is there. Let's take a look at actual low-end performance. As I mentioned before, whatever is the newest Assassin's Creed game tends to be pretty punishing for low-end systems. This is the benchmark map on regular lowest settings running on stock clocks on the Athlon 3000G. This dual-core Zen 1 part has risen in cost to the point that I no longer recommend it, and reminds me how we desperately need newer APUs, but still serves as a good test bench because, as you can see, this is far outside what you can use for big games in 2020. I do not think I was able to finish the benchmark map. So with internal resolution to 30%, minimal details disabled, even the ones that do not seem to work, just in case, but screen space ambient occlusion still enabled, it kinda works? So two things. One, I love that this is the first benchmark tool in a while that gives you temperatures and usage percentages per CPU core and for the entire GPU, which is darn useful and guarantees I will likely be using this game as a benchmark tool for a while. The other is that there were a number of visual glitches, and unlike I'm pulling cosmic GPU energy, the GPU usage is bonked. Keep in mind that at the time of recording, I'm using a pre-release version of the game and AMD drivers are not yet optimized for it, so I'm not entirely surprised. I did not see any of these glitches when testing with low-end dedicated GPUs though. Performance, however, is almost there. I was surprised to notice that probably if I added a dedicated GPU to the CPU, it could do at least 30 FPS, which at least reinforces my past suggestion of the Athlon as a 30 FPS stopgap CPU. Did this translate to gameplay? Mostly. While having temporal anti-aliasing forced on a low render resolution bothers the heck out of me, this game has decent enough silhouetting that you can actually tell what is happening, even if I'm not sure I'd recommend it. To avoid the stuttering that is so painfully typical of Assassin's Creed games on low-end CPUs, I also set the variables for the 30 FPS lock, and for the most part it worked. There were some near load crashes, but when I started this video I seriously thought I was going to need to use something better than the Athlon, but with just a bit of work, it could be done. So there you have it. If you have Anything just a bit better, and hopefully a dedicated GPU, you can participate in bringing pain and violence to unsuspecting villages and camps. Unfortunately, plundering the cities of your enemies is not a profession you can pursue in 2020. Wait, is that unfortunate or fortunate? I guess it depends on who is holding the axe. Anyway, violence is not the answer, so if you want to polish up those skills, the weapon of choice is Skillshare. Skillshare is the online education community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people, on topics including illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and more. They have classes for every skill level, they have classes that fit all schedules, they're a great resource for actually learning something you can use. I can talk about this from experience. This year has been very busy and I still found time to study things like social media photography so I can actually do social media, or color grading on videos that actually look decent. And there are tons of things to learn in Skillshare. It is really outstanding. There's several good news with that. One is that it's way cheaper than you would expect, and honestly just less than I expected to pay for some of these premium classes. And two, the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description get a free trial of Skillshare Premium, so they can experience this firsthand. And also support the channel in the process, since this is how they know you came from me. Don't wait on this offer and get started learning today. Thank you to Skillshare for the support, and you for watching.